What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is down 0.83%, 298 the low, $3.16 the high. So the market absolutely loved PPI data that came out, so it was better than anticipated. So 0.2 versus a forecast of being at 0.3. So that's what prompted the market to really push higher. But that was short-lived, only because of what is coming out tomorrow. So I think in reality, it doesn't matter. It could have came in negative for all as the market cared. Everyone is just worried about CPI. And right now, even going into tomorrow, forecast being 2.9, there is absolutely no optimism for it to be kind of essentially like in a decent range. So Moody's is kind of the lowest at 2.8. Everyone is anticipating higher. I don't know what UBS smoked because they are saying it's 3.3, but aside from that, ultimately that isn't going to be good. So if, let's say, it comes in line with expectations, that is what is going to prompt a pullback because it is just too high. So it's a lose-lose scenario. Brought this up vaguely yesterday, but ultimately this is what is putting a massive damper on the broader market. So if you feel CPI is kind of just more of a short-term noise type of thing, then yeah, definitely buy the dip, do what you need to do. No actual news from Lucid itself today, no SEC filings. They have been rather even quiet on social media, so that's something again just to kind of take note of. There was a article that came out that I wanted to go over. It is the latest in EV stats. It is always delayed, but it is as of, or I guess it came out January the 7th, 2025. So in China, sales are up 51%, and that's year over year. So in general, I kind of would like to see Lucid maybe through a third party, or let's say a joint partnership of some sorts. They can really push some sales over there because yeah, there's a huge amount of demand, a lot of competition though, so it's kind of a win-lose scenario a little bit. But Europe surprisingly has been down, and so over the last 4 of these reports, like Europe is kind of losing some steam. I don't know if it's just because of pricing, infrastructure, or whatever else, but that is definitely something to take note of. Aside from that, the States is up 11.5%. So still a lot of good demand coming from the States, and I think that could really fuel Lucid, their demand for 2025. And plus, they are actually looking at expanding in 2025 to pretty much where they're located already in Europe. So hopefully the demand does start to kind of revert back to what it was, because at the beginning of 2024 you were seeing double-digit growth coming from Europe. So hopefully that does change for Lucid, or for Europe to benefit Lucid. But aside from that though, it is just kind of stuck in limbo a little bit based on the market conditions. Right now, shorts are increasing 818,000 shares. 19.19% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 228.65 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 93.56, and then short score is 73.63%. Cost to borrow average has been dropping, so it is at 1.06, and then through IBKR does indicate there is an excess of 10 million shares available to be shorted. Latest 13Fs have been coming out. A lot of the bigger players at the end of the month, if not early February, and these ones of the small fish, it is what it is. You see some, such as City State Bank, reducing their position entirely. FNC Investment Advisors completely eliminated entirely. So, of course, I think during Q4, they did that issuance, so maybe that put a damper on potentially just people's viewpoint on them. So again, it's more so the bigger players. That's what I'm interested in kind of waiting to see. But moving on, 535,000 in calls, 95,000 in puts. So rather low volume today. 49% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. Of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above roughly around that 350 for this week, 4 for next week, and then February the 21st, $5. So kind of interesting stuff as far as that. They did open up a new chain, so February the 28th, no real kind of options being done for that. So that would encumber Lucid's February the 25th earnings. So yeah, right now not really much activity for that. The bears though, they are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $2.50 for this week and $2 for next week. So that is very, very extreme. Maybe they are anticipating CPI data tomorrow to really prompt a pullback or something like that. At the same time, we are starting to head into earnings season, so bank earnings tomorrow. So maybe that as well could disrupt the broader market. But these are some of the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. Majority are sells, unfortunately, and it looks like they are selling around this time period right here, prompting the pullback, maybe because of this, like I said. So only 2 buys, one for 195,000, the other one for 102. The rest are sells, so very low volume in general. So that's again something to keep in mind. I bring this up in other stocks, so I have quite a few different YouTube channels, a lot of different sectors I cover, and Lucid, like, I think in general they've been getting less and less volume, but algorithmic trading has been kind of working on Lucid's side a little bit, a lot more than other stocks. But if algos turn negative, then this is where you could see extreme volatility in the foreseeable future. But aside from that, let's pull up good old Lucid. So as far as right now with it at $2.98, it is trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. So 291 is going to be the next strong support. And then flip side, $3.19 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Kind of bounce off of that general area, so that 319, but regardless, didn't really touch either of them, so it's kind of just stuck in limbo. As far as today, there's been a lot of articles coming out about Lucid, just saying how it's a very good buy and stuff like that. But in reality, there's not really much substantial good information that is on there, just more regurgitation saying the technicals, blah, blah, blah. So I think right now, just investors are waiting for their upcoming earnings just to see what is exactly stated. Aside from that, though, hopefully you do see some more new positive ratings as a byproduct of their upcoming earnings. So last one was done by Adam Jonas, sell rating $3, Morgan Stanley 7 days ago. So it'd be nice to see some bullish ratings for once. But aside from that, though, let's kind of talk on the technicals, because that is one of the biggest things that is driving Lucid right now. So with it where it is, you do have that 100 and 200-day moving averages right below it. So yesterday it kind of broke and then was able to fight back and stay above it, but that 100 and 200-day moving averages are absolutely key in order for Lucid to really stay at these levels. It is somewhat also getting pinched, so it is below the ALMA, so it is kind of getting pushed and squeezed between that ALMA and also 100-day moving average. Usually that does result in a lot of kind of a spike. Dependent on at the time, could be very positive or could be negative, but regardless, anticipate either a extreme move in either direction, possibly prompted by CPI tomorrow. So that could be a very fun, volatile day. But aside from that, a couple of key points to really watch for is that super trend. Like I said, super trend and has been really helping Lucid, because that does really fuel a lot of algorithmic trading. So again, I think Lucid's been gaining some good momentum because of that. But if it does break below that 262 point right here, then yeah, you could see a little bit more of a pullback. And then as well, last but not least, you have that 50-day moving average. I don't need to explain that to you on how important that is, because in Lucid's case, that is probably the most key overall trend, whether it's bullish or bearish, is that 50-day moving average. So all in all, like I said, I think there's just a hell of a lot of fear in the broader market. You could be one of those individuals that likes to think bigger picture, not just short term, because I get it. A lot of my videos, I talk on what's affecting Lucid, like right now in today, what might affect it tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. But if you think bigger picture, usually whenever it's in the extreme fear or fear categories, that's usually a signal to buy. But I'm not here to get you guys to buy nor sell, just interpreting the data, so you do whatever floats your boat. Let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? What are you doing with Lucid? And if you are potentially thinking about buying, what price would you buy again? If it does pull back, I think I'd be more oriented towards around that 50-day moving average to buy more. Right now, I'm just sticking to my options and doing it in that aspect. So let me know your thoughts. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers despite the market volatility. So definitely pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.